Is it possible to speak a foreign language just after 3 months of practice? Yes, it is, and I will show you how. Hi there, hi everyone, this is Matt Sierra and this is Business with Matt Sierra. So we're gonna talk about what? No, not business. Today we're gonna talk about languages because along with business is my biggest passion. So I've got two great passions and today I'm gonna check if you maybe prefer the content related to the languages, to foreign languages learning, because it's also pretty interesting stuff. And I have kind of knowledge in this topic as I speak 8 languages. And I used to say I'm not perfect at any, but I speak many, which means that I never aim to be a perfect person, to be a perfect speaker. Because even in my native language, it's impossible. Yeah, it's too complicated. Every single language has at least 500,000 words, which means that it's impossible to know them all, to never commit an error, to never make a mistake. It's just impossible. So it's not my aim. My aim is to communicate with people, to talk to them, to get to know their country, their culture, their mind. And this is possible right after 3 months of practicing. And it worked for me many times and it will work for me in the future and it will work for you because there's nothing like language talent, like some kind of structures in the brain which someone has and you don't have them, which would make it impossible to you to start speaking so fast because 3 months is good enough, isn't it? So today I'm gonna show you the way. Of course, it's not possible to be very fluent after 3 months, but it is possible to communicate pretty fast with many errors, but it's not important. But it is possible to communicate, and it also doesn't apply to all languages because probably with Chinese or Japanese, it's not gonna be as fast, but the same method that I will show you right now will work for those languages as well, but it's gonna be a bit longer, but it's the only difference. So it works for everyone, and I've tested it with thousands of people because in my native country, I teach languages and we've got a pretty nice company which teaches languages, and we've had thousands of clients, and we've seen that the method is effective. So I'm gonna give it to you. And it's very simple. Imagine that you buy Lego bricks for your cell phone or for your kids maybe, and you wanna build something. And then you've got 1,000 bricks and no instruction, no tutorial. So what are you gonna do without this guide? Well, you're gonna build something. There are still thousands of possibilities to build something out of 1,000 blocks without the guide, without the tutorial. But let's make it another way around. And right now, let's think that you've got the tutorial, you've got the guide, but you don't have bricks. What are you gonna do with it? Nothing. You can use it as a toilet paper. So that's it. Which means that bricks, which are words, because in the world, in the language world, bricks are words, are much more important than rules, than guides, than grammar. This is the very most important thing right now, okay? That you have to omit, you have to avoid grammar in the beginning. And then you start thinking probably that, but wait, in my college, in my school, they always started with grammar. They tried to teach me French, for example, or German or some other language with grammar. It's BS, yeah? It doesn't make any sense. It's absurd. It's like giving the guide without any bricks. That's why the first step are the bricks. The first step of my 4 steps method are the bricks. Okay? So you start with finding the list of 1,000 most frequent words. In Google, there are plenty of those lists. Then you download one of the apps like italki, not italki, this way in the second step. We're gonna do it. But right now, you download whether Anki or Memrise or Quizlet. So you test which one of those 3 is gonna be much more pleasant to you, much more interesting, and you stick with the one that you choose. And then you add the list 1,000 words most frequent words, not random words, but most frequent words, and you practice them. You practice them using flashcards, using quizzes, and so on. And you only do this. Right now, at this moment, you never take a book with grammar rules. You don't speak to people because I think it's too early. And you either don't try to, for example, watch Netflix videos, Netflix movies, yeah, or YouTube videos, because it's too much. If you don't understand it, you don't try to do stupid stuff like watching videos or I'm gonna learn while sleeping. It's stupid. It just doesn't work. You only need first words. So then, after you know 1,000 or 1,500 words, then we go to the second step, which is start speaking. You download the app called italki, for example. There are also various apps, but I personally like to use italki. Maybe you live in some big city where you've got some foreigners and you can speak to them in the real world. So it's also gonna be a good idea. But you buy 1 or 2 lessons per week in order to have 10 lessons, 10 classes. It's very important. And you ask me, okay, but I know only 1,000 words or 1,500. Is it enough? And my answer is definitely it is. Yes, it is enough because you don't buy those classes in order to show off that you're good enough, that you're perfect, that you don't commit any errors. You buy them in order to practice those words, to create the phrases out of them, and to create something new, to build some building out of your bricks. And this person will help you. And this person, well, the first lesson will be stressful. I can guarantee that. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty sweaty lesson, I could call it this way. But the lesson number 10 is gonna be like pretty nice fun. I guarantee it also to you. So just do it. Just do it. And then after each lesson, because going to the step number 2 doesn't mean you finish the step number 1. Yeah? You still learn new words. So you download, for example, the list of 5,000 most frequent words and you continue practicing them. And also after each class with a foreigner, you add those new words to your list, to your app called Anki, Memrise, or Quizlet. So out of each lesson, you take the words and add them to your list and practice them. So all the time, you continue with step 1. After 10 lessons, after 10 classes, you can go to step number 3, which means that you don't end steps 1 and 2. You still add new words, you still have classes, but right now you can add step number 3, which is called comprehensible input, which means that right now you can start listening to songs, watching videos, watching Netflix movies, and so on. But only if you understand it. Okay? This is very important. So I wouldn't recommend you to download, for example, some Spanish rap songs. Okay, because it's gonna be too complicated. It's gonna contain too much slang words and so on. So it's gonna be too tough. It's gonna ruin your motivation. So let's avoid that. It has to be comprehensible. So it's gonna be, which means literally that you have to understand at least 90%, maybe 85, whatever, but most of the things without checking them. So if you've got a book, and in this book, you've got to check 50% of the words. It means that this book is not the comprehensible input for you. So you search for another book, maybe some simple article. Okay? You're searching for some content which is gonna be mostly understandable, mostly easy. And then, if you've got that's why I rather start with non-fiction book. Because it's gonna be much, much easier, okay? So some kind of self-help book, for example, and then you've got very simple words, and then you check only 10 or 15% of them in the dictionary, then it means it is comprehensible input. And then you add the words to your Anki or Memrise or Quizlet, then still you've got those classes. And after 3 or 4 weeks with this comprehensible input, which is, well, one important thing is that it has to be to your liking, something of your liking, which means that if I don't like podcasts, then my comprehensible input doesn't contain a lot of podcasts at all, I would say. I love YouTube videos because there's so much international knowledge there that I spend a lot of hours on YouTube, but almost never just entertaining. It's like killing two birds with one stone, which means that, for example, when I learn a new language, let's say Catalan recently, then I check some Catalan YouTube videos and I've got 2 great things at the same time. Yeah, the first one is that I practice Catalan because I've got a lot of new words, I add them to my lists and so on. And the second thing is that there's some topic, yeah? There's some theme to the video. So, for example, they are psychological videos or business videos or philosophical videos. So they teach me something additional. So I learn the language and I learn the topic. The psychology, some productivity tricks and so on, yeah? So this is great. This is very, very great. So right now we've got input comprehensible, which is comprehensible. And then, and only then, after a couple of weeks, when it's fun and it's easy and it's nice, then you go to the step number 4, which means you don't stop with 3 first steps. Okay, so you still learn words as much as possible. You still have classes with a foreigner and you still watch YouTube videos or Netflix videos and so on. And now you can check instructions, tutorials. Right now you can learn grammar. Yeah, it's after a couple of weeks or even months. But right now and only now, it's gonna be easy. Right now you're gonna search for the rules and they are gonna be comprehensible because you will think that, okay, I've seen. I've heard, for example, my native speaker using this rule, saying something which is in accordance to this rule. I've heard a song which takes advantage of this rule. So the rules, we're gonna stick to your mind pretty quickly because you're gonna have experience at that point. Okay? So it's gonna be much, much easier. So the only rule related to grammar rules is that if you wanna check something particular earlier, like you're on the step 1, you're learning 1,000 words. But there's something that is pretty interesting for you. Why they say, for example, un extranjero, but una extranjera. Why un y una? In English, you've got a for everyone. Why in Spanish they've got 2 different pronouns? Why is it? Then you can Google it because you've got the motivation. You've got this feeling that this urge even, that you want to check it. So then it's okay. It's gonna be good, but only then. And never on purpose like today I'm gonna study grammar. No, never do it. So resuming, the first step, you download the list of 1,000 most frequent words or even 5,000, but your goal is to reach 1,000, okay? And you download the app called Quizlet or Memrise or Anki. You pick the best and practice, practice, practice. If you're ready, so which means that you've got 1,000 words in your mind, then you start speaking using an app called italki, for example. And then after 10 lessons, you're on the step 3, which means that you add comprehensible input, which means that you start listening to songs, you start watching YouTube videos, not use shitty stuff like learning while sleeping or some magical glasses, VR glasses, which will transfer the language to your mind because it doesn't work. You've got to give it your full attention, okay? So it can't be something in the background. You've got to focus on that. So that's the step number 3. And after a couple of weeks, 1 month, for example, you're ready to check out the grammar rules. Probably it's gonna be fun at that point because it's not gonna be overwhelming because you will have as many words, as many bricks at this point that the grammar will stick to your mind pretty quickly. That's it. Those are 4 rules. I hope it will work. Well, I don't hope. I am pretty sure that they will work in your case. So have fun learning a new language. Give the like for this video and also leave me the comment if you prefer business-related content or language-related content, because right now I'm thinking about the future of this channel, so it's gonna be pretty helpful. Thanks a lot and have fun.